Hello, welcome to News Round, a recap of stories amid headlines during the week. Coming up in the next 25 minutes. Economic and Financial Crimes Commission reveals former governor of Kogi State, Bello, moved over $720,000 from state coffers to pay child school fees. And President Tinubu urges the judiciary to restore its integrity and earn public trust. Inmate Escape as rainstorm destroys old Soldier Correctional Center fence in Niger State. Plus, U.S. President Joe Biden signs $95 billion foreign aid and bill for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. I begin News Round with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission's investigation of the embattled former governor of Kogi State, Mr. Bello. Chairman of the anti-corruption body, Mr. Ola Olukoyede, revealed that, among other infractions, the former governor took $700,000 of state funds to pay his children's school fees in advance. The EFCC chairman made these revelations during an interactive engagement with senior journalists and some select members of the civil society in Abuja.
It's not the usual day at the headquarters of the EFCC. Senior journalists and members of the civil society keenly listened to Mr. Ola Olukoyede's engagement. We have countenance on the face of the anti-graft boss says it all. The case against the former Kogi governor Bello is not a starting point of the media interaction, but it's perhaps one with a huge public interest. The EFCC is not happy with the development on the matter.
A sitting governor, because he knows he's going, move money directly from government to produce the change. Use it to pay the child school fee in advance. In advance. In dollars, yes. In dollars. $72,000 or $720,000, sorry. $720,000 in advance. In anticipating that he was going to leave government house. In a poor state like Kogi, and you want me to close my eyes to that, under the guise of saying I'm being used. Used by who? At this stage of my life, used by who? By who? For crying out loud. I assumed office here. I didn't initiate the case. I inherited the case file. I called for the case file. I called for the report. And I said, look, there are issues here. Do you know on my own, on my honor, I put a call across to him, which ordinarily I'm not supposed to do. Just to honor him as a governor, as a immediate past governor. Sir, there are issues. I've seen this case file. Can you just come? Let us clarify these issues. He said, sir, I thank you, my brother. I know, but I can't come. There's one lady, I don't know what her name is, senator, that she learned she had said, she has surrounded the EFCC with over 100 journalists, to come and embarrass him and intimidate him and all kind of stuff. I said, okay, if that is your fear, I'm going to pass you through my own gate, special man's gate. You will come to my floor. We will accord you that respect. I will invite my operatives. They will come and interrogate you or interview you in my own office. What could be more honorable than that? In my own office. To allay the fear. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. You know what he said? But can't they come to my village? That's what he told me. Can't they come to my village to come and say, I told you. He also he sent a message to him. My director of investigation sent a message to him.
And the EFCC chairman appears resolute. He makes some categorical statement.
Some of the people that we thought are crusaders, they are on the payroll of the man. And that's the truth. We are investigating it. We are building a case against everyone involved. Whether you are a governor or not, we are building a case. Let the whole public hear. We are building a case against those who obstructed justice. You are sitting, you have immunity today, you won't have immunity forever. We are not stopping there. It's been watch listed all over the world. It can only run. They said there's no law in this country that we are following. Let's all of us declare that we are a state of barrier. Everybody go and do what they like. Like I said, I don't mind the outcome of this case, but the right thing must be done. If we don't see this case through, I won't have any moral right to accuse anybody of corruption in Nigeria. I will resign.
Yaya Bello's case is not the only matter the agency is pursuing at the moment. More revelations emerge on the schemes that threaten the economy.
Suddenly we discovered that there are even people within the system who are doing worse than Binance. They call them the P2P and all of that. It was shocking. Just yesterday, I had calls to freeze over 300 accounts. One of those accounts, we discovered that the guy that traded the volume of over 50 billion in the last 1 year. Nobody knew outside the financial regulation. Over 300 accounts in illicit forex trading that would have led to another crash in the next 1 week if we didn't move yesterday.
What about the uproar on the cross-dresser Bobrisky and recent prosecutions over Naira mutilation?
Some people have taken us to cleaners on the issue of spraying money and all of that. It's not the work of EFCC. It's not the responsibility of EFCC. Go and look at our law very well. I'm a lawyer myself. And I did promise I won't do anything outside the rule of law. What do you understand by economic sabotage? What is the meaning of economic crime? My mandate is not only to investigate financial crimes. The mandate goes as far as investigating the economic crime.
Illegal miners are now on the radar of the anti-graft agency. Some seizures, we understand, are already made.
To see what Nigeria loses every day to illegal money, you will wait for this country. As at the last count, how many trucks of mineral resources have we seized? 40, sir. We have over 40. You know what that means? Of lithium and all kinds of expensive raw natural resources.
Olukoide then responds to questions, first on the investigation on former Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika.
There's nothing personal. It's not about this Sirika. It's about the system. It's about our process. It's about national interest. So don't let us single out someone as if EFCC is running after this Sirika. No, please. No, it's a system. If you had asked me, are we investigating issues that have to do with Ministry of Aviation? And I will tell you straight away that yes, we are investigating it.
And then about the suspended Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Better Edu, and some of the issues around the ministry's finances.
What we are investigating started during Better Edu. Do you think it started during Alima? Do you think it even started during Sadia? Before that ministry was established, every single kobo that was allocated to that ministry is what we are investigating.
After all said, the EFCC is asking Nigerians for support, as the chairman believes if the commission fails, the nation, according to him, has failed. Seun Wakimaloye, reporting for Channels Television News.
And insecurity in Africa is a major challenge, and the president is seeking continent-wide solutions to the menace. In the light of this, the President Bola Tinubu is calling for the establishment of a regional counterterrorism center that will serve as a hub for intelligence sharing, operational coordination, and capacity building. President Bola Tinubu canvassed this at the African high-level meeting on counterterrorism in Abuja, where he declared that Africa must take a comprehensive approach to combating terrorism.
Faced with the challenge of terrorism and other security threats, President Bola Tinubu is here to open the two-day African Counterterrorism Summit holding in the office of the National Security Advisor.
At this time, Your Excellency,
the high-level summit has in attendance Presidents Nana Akufo-Addo of Ghana and Faure Gnassingbé of Togo, the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Mrs. Amina Mohammed, Chairperson of the African Union Commission, Musa Faki, members of the diplomatic community in Nigeria, some state governors, and hundreds of other delegates from across Africa. For decades, Africa's existence has been threatened by activities of terrorist organizations, including the over 15 years reign of the Boko Haram and Islamic State West African province ISWAP in Nigeria and neighboring countries, which has claimed thousands of lives and rendering millions homeless. The National Security Advisor highlights the objectives of the summit to profile solutions to the myriad of security challenges in the country and strengthen regional collaborations among African countries.
The theme of this high-level African counter-terrorism meeting, strengthening regional regional cooperation and institution building to address the evolving threats of terrorism is timely. It reflects the urgent need to confront the impacts of terrorism that continue to disrupt our lives and threaten our collective security.
He gives update on terrorists in detention.
I'm taking this opportunity to inform the world that we have resumed the prosecution of the Boko Haram and affiliated terrorist suspects detained in Kainji and other locations across the country.
The general consensus is that the root causes of terrorism must be addressed for Africa to make a headway.
Rebuilding our social contract is essential for recovery. It means building strong democratic institutions and promoting people-centered governance, all grounded in human rights and guaranteed access to basic services and inclusive development for all people, no matter who they are or where they are.
However, for any action to be impactful, there has to be a deliberate investment in building the capacity of institutions.
We must harness the power of technology and innovation to enhance our counterterrorism capabilities, including surveillance, data analysis, and border security measures.
Those who think illegal money has
President Bola Tinubu repeats his earlier call for the establishment of a regional standby force and strengthen the existing counterterrorism centers across the region.
The international community has both the moral and legal obligation to help in this cause because it is outside money, not African money, that fuels the illegal operations. Key to our collective efforts against terrorism is the need for a fully operational regional counter-terrorism center. This center will serve as a hub for intelligence sharing, operational coordination, and capacity building throughout our region.
The president assures his guests of Nigeria's commitment towards strengthening arms control measures, border security, and disrupting the illicit trafficking networks that fuel terrorism and organized crime. From the Office of the National Security Advisor, Emperor Simon, Channels Television News.
And thank you for staying with us. Well, reforms to restore your integrity and public trust, that seems to underscore the president's message to the judiciary. President Bola Tinubu is urging the arm of government to seek new directions and focus on creating a new justice system that will respond to the needs of Nigerians. The president gave this challenge to judicial officers at the National Judicial Summit in Abuja, where he was represented by the Vice President, Kashim Shettima.
Top echelon of the judiciary in Nigeria have converged for the 2024 National Summit on Justice at the National Judicial Institute, Abuja. Vice President Kashim Shettima, Senate President Senator Godswill Akpabio, and the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwola, lead the three arms of government to the summit, which focuses on repositioning the justice system. The Minister of Justice and the President of the Nigerian Bar Association sets the tone for the discussion, which is the advancement of the sector and implementation of the national policy on justice.
The policy seeks to promote and protect human rights and access to justice, which are essential features of a functional justice system. It proposes critical and sustainable interventions in the implementation of statutory provisions, encouraging protection of human rights and access to justice.
The position of the judiciary is no less the position of any of the security agencies. Because if you do not deliberately invest in the judiciary, then you are ignoring the very fabric, the very foundation on which this country stands.
This call is buttressed by the Chief Justice of Nigeria. He underscores the importance of rebuilding the trust of Nigerians in the judiciary.
The quest for justice should not be a privilege reserved for the few, but a right accessible to all, regardless of their circumstances. Therefore, it is incumbent upon us to embark on a journey of comprehensive reform
to ensure that justice is not only dispensed, but also perceived to be dispensed fairly and impartially.
The Senate President has some recommendations for the judiciary, especially as it concerns political cases.
We must try and curb the misuse of ex parte orders in political matters, particularly by our judges, by the judiciary. To curb this, it is imperative that the National Judicial Council, the agency, exercises stringent oversight. We recommend prompt and decisive punishment. Oh, I was going to say for judges, but maybe for the officers involved, who are found to abuse this authority in any manner.
President Bola Tinubu, who was represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, urged the judicial officers to work towards strengthening the judiciary and be accountable to Nigerians.
The impact of their reform efforts should be visible in terms of improved access to justice, strengthen integrity of justice sector institutions, increase timeliness and quality of justice delivery, accountability, and transparency of the system.
The focal point at the 2024 National Justice Summit is accountability and transparency. Many Nigerians are expecting the arms of government will match words with actions. Emanuela Ekele, Channels Television News.
And to other top stories of the week, 106 inmates of the Suleja Medium Security Custodial Center in Niger State are still at large after about 119 of them escaped from the facility. This followed the rainstorm that broke down the fence of the building on Wednesday night, exposing the facility's inner fence protecting one of the cells where inmates were kept. The Minister of Interior, Mr. Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, has inspected the facility and said that the federal government is determined to prevent a reoccurrence in addition to ensuring that the fleeing inmates are captured.
This crumbled perimeter fence gave temporary freedom to about 119 inmates who escaped from the Suleja Correctional Facility in Niger State on Wednesday night during a heavy rainfall across communities in Niger and neighboring Federal Capital Territory. An eyewitness gives an account of how the inmates escaped.
What actually happened last night was a tragedy to we living around this area. As a result of the heavy downpour, and that's what makes the there was a heavy downpour and the windstorm that now fell down the wall. So as a result, they used the medium to break through a wall and escaped, which they now came out in their numbers.
The Medium Security Custodial Center, sandwiched between residential buildings, was built in 1914 and was meant to accommodate 250 inmates, but as at the time of the incident, had 499 inmates. The Minister of Interior, who came to see things for himself, has declared that the fleeing inmates may be on the run, but not out of reach of the long arm of the law.
There was a breach of the outer wall of this facility, and some of the inmates, escaped. And of course, we've been able to retrieve, get about 10 back out of the 119. So we have 109 at large, and the manhunt is presently ongoing. We will do everything humanly possible to make sure that everyone is brought back. That's number one. And number two also is that we've also looked at the cause of the matter, because we must make sure that this does not happen again. And how can we prevent this? Obviously, we can see the walls are actually old, and unfortunately, there are certain responsibilities that we must take. And but the most important thing is we'll do everything possible to restore sanity, to ensure that this does not happen in any other facility.
He says efforts are already on to recapture the fleeing inmates, in addition to preventing a reoccurrence.
I wasn't appointed by President Bola Tinubu to make excuses. I was appointed by him to take responsibility, and we're not shying away from this responsibility. We will take it, and we will get them back, and we will secure our correctional centers and make sure that this doesn't happen anywhere else in Nigeria.
This marks the third significant prison escape since 2021. On the night of July the 5th, 2022, 879 inmates escaped from the Kuje Correctional Facility in Abuja following an attack by a suspected Boko Haram terrorist. Previously, the largest escape followed a jailbreak on April the 5th, 2021, when gunmen attacked the Owerri Correctional Center in Imo State, freeing 1,844 inmates.
We had news round with U.S. President Joe Biden signing the long-awaited $95 billion aid package to support allies, including Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. Speaking at the White House on Wednesday after signing the foreign aid bill, Mr. Biden said the package would make the world safer and it would help the countries defend themselves against threats to their soil. The United States is expected to start sending weapons and military equipment to Ukraine as soon as possible.
I just signed into law the national security package that was passed by the House of Representatives this weekend and by the Senate yesterday. It's going to make America safer, it's going to make the world safer, and it continues America's leadership in the world, and everyone knows it. It gives vital support to America's partners so they can defend themselves against threats to their sovereignty and to the lives and freedom of their citizens. And it's an investment in our own security. Because when our allies are stronger, and I want to make this point again and again, when our allies are stronger, we are stronger. I'm grateful to all those in Congress, Democrats, Republicans, Independents who voted for this bill. It's a path to my desk. It was a difficult path. It should have been easier and it should have gotten there sooner. But in the end, we did what America always does. We rose to the moment. We came together and we got it done. For months, while MAGA Republicans are blocking aid, Ukraine has been running out of artillery shells and ammunition. Meanwhile, Putin's friends keep keeping him well supplied. Iran sent him drones. North Korea has sent him ballistic missiles and artillery shells. China is providing components and know-how to boost Russia's defense production. With all this support, Russia has ramped up its airstrikes against Ukrainian cities and critical infrastructure. Rain down munitions on you brave Ukrainians defending their homeland. And now, America is going to send Ukraine the supplies they need to keep them in the fight. I'm making sure the shipments start right away. In the next few hours, literally a few hours, we're going to begin sending in equipment to Ukraine for air defense munitions, for artillery, for rocket systems, and armored vehicles. You know, this package is literally an investment. Not only in Ukraine's security, but in Europe's security, in our own security. We're sending Ukraine equipment from our own stockpiles. Then we'll replenish those stockpiles with new products made by American companies here in America.
And those were the top stories for the week. Thank you for watching. I'm Ladi Williams. Bye for now.